Welcome to my channel. My name is Shoshana and I am a guide to life. I give guidance through the spiritual awakening and emotional processes to help you better understand what you're going through. And I want to talk a little bit about trust. Um, can you regain trust once that bond is broken? And trust really is a sacred bond. And trust is something that is very scarce in the world. So when you have a relationship where you have pure trust, that is sacred. That is a privilege. And because it is so scarce. And that bond really is a sacred bond, which allows the two parts to be free within that relationship. It creates a safe space. And because trust is an issue with so many people, most people, almost everybody. It is connected directly to our core wounds of abandonment that we received that core wound at birth when we were abandoned, when we came out into nothingness or into the disconnect from the womb, disconnect from God. It was also very painful if we went through natural process of being born. It was also very painful, and then all of a sudden we're thrown out. We are tossed into this illusion of separateness, and now we have to fend for ourselves. And along the way, as children, we're hurt, and we are disappointed, and our trust is let down. And many of us were taught not to trust anyone, even our parents. And and so we come in to this world with this mistrust, or with this feeling that I can only depend on myself. And when you can find a bond, and you trust that person, and you can allow yourself to let go within that relationship, because trust takes a long time to build. True trust, and is very scarce. Even in married couples that have been married for years and years and years, many times the trust hasn't been completely built. A lot of times, trust is built on codependency. You know that that other person is dependent on you, and you create these dependencies so that you can trust that they won't leave you, or they won't abandon you, because they are dependent on you. So it's like you have to perform and provide this service that you've created in order to trust that that other person is going to be there. So that's not pure trust. That's not trusting that no matter what I do, this other person is going to be there for me. It's kind of like a codependency that's built on this trust. And so when you have a relationship that has trust in it, this is something that is the most valuable thing, asset that you can have. It adds power to power. So if you have a bond that is so strong that you feel like it could never be broken, it allows you the freedom, both individual and as a couple, to do great things, because you feel like you're held. You feel like you have this other person that you can depend on, which allows you the freedom to do your own thing, to try new things, to go get out of your comfort zone, to be weak, and so a lot of people don't have trust in their relationship. Their relationship doesn't allow them to be weak, or they're afraid always that if they don't perform, that other will leave them. So they're in this constant performance, and that isn't true trust. And when the bond of trust is broken, can you regain trust? And the truth is that sometimes you just can't. Sometimes when that bond is broken, there is no way to regain that trust. And communication is key. Communication is key. But if you do want to regain that trust, the only way that you really can regain it, first of all, is to be completely dedicated to regaining that trust. And not for the other person, but for yourself. that, because if somebody can see that you want to regain the trust, but not for them, not to just so you will stay with me, but because I want to be a trustworthy person, I let my own self down. I'm doing it for myself. That will make them trust you because they know that you're not doing it for them. You're not dependent on, oh, I'm just holding myself in this place so you don't leave me, but I don't really, these aren't really my values. But when somebody can see that it is your values, that your values are to become a trustworthy person, and that you don't want to break their trust for yourself, then that will help the process along. And now, if you have broken this bond of trust, you have to be completely front forward with it. That means completely honest with it. That means completely open up. First of all, be honest with yourself. Why did you mistrust? Why were you mistrustworthy? Why did you break the trust? What did you do? What did whatever you did answer? Was it because you're unsatisfied in this relationship? Is it because there are things in this relationship that make you feel a certain way, that or don't allow you to feel a certain way, that things outside of this relationship do give you? So you have to truly assess what it is and why it is that you did this, because maybe something in this relationship is not allowing you to completely fulfill your life purpose or things that you want to achieve in this lifetime, and in that way is holding you down, which a complete true relationship will not want to hold you down. It will want for your expansion and will allow space for your expansion, no matter what that expansion looks like. Right? Because if there are things that you want to experience in this lifetime, there's only this lifetime to experience them in. And there's a reason that you were drawn to it, for your own expansion, for your own um, um, fulfillment, for the expansion of your soul, for the expansion of the all, for the expansion of God, right? Because you are of God essence. Whatever is flowing through you is a part of God that wants to be expanded. That's all we are, is expansion, experience. We're experiencing things and expanding the things that are capable of experiencing. So we are in constant, all of the information and everything that is possible, everything that is imaginable is already here in the universe all around us. All we are doing is uncovering it and discovering it and bringing it into the light. And, all of the different makeups of everything are already in existence. It's just that we have to uncover them. So we are part of God. We're part of creation. We are we are an active ingredient. We are of creation, but we are also creators. So we are also God. God is creating through us and discovering through us. And many of us, that is our purpose. And so why did I betray that trust? Because there was something outside that the draw to that was stronger than this bond meant to me. So there's a reason for it, and you have to be able to look at that reason honestly and look and see if you satisfied that, whatever it was. Because if you didn't satisfy it, you're going to be prone to do it again. And if you cannot be honest about it with your partner, then you need to reassess why this relationship is even there. And if you can't be honest about it, it means you're not taking responsibility for whatever it is that you did. And so you need to be, first of all, completely honest with yourself. Why did this happen? What did I need? Why did I feel like I needed to go behind this person's back to do it? Because they wouldn't accept it? Well, if they wouldn't accept it, then do they truly love me, or is this a dependent relationship? Is their love for me dependent on me belittling myself or making myself smaller or not experiencing all of the things that I want to experience, all of the aspects that I want to experience in life? Because if this person fully loves me and wants for my best interest, they will want for me to be able to experience whatever it is I need to experience, whatever it is that I want to experience in this lifetime, because this is it, folks. This is it. This is the lifetime that you have to experience it. So you need to fully assess it within yourself, and then you need to be completely forthcoming. You need to say whether you were satisfied with it or not satisfied with it, why it was, what you were attracted to, what it answered for you, and you need to bring that to your partner, because your partner will not be able to trust you if you are not completely honest with them about everything single thing that happened here. Not only every single thing, even if it is difficult for them to hear. If you want to regain trust, you have to take responsibility. And taking responsibility, part of it is bringing forth everything. That means even the graphic things, even the things that are difficult for this person to hear, they have to know it all. Because if they don't know everything that happened here, they're going to have blind spots and they're going to have that constant wondering, even if they don't want to hear it because it's so difficult to hear. They need to hear it, because otherwise it's going to be a constant nagging in their mind. They're going to be envisioning things that are far more worse than what really happened, than what they really, if you really break it down for them and tell them everything and the reasoning behind and what you felt and what you were attracted to outside, what you were, and a lot of this, we're talking about infidelity, but this can be applied to any kind of relationship and broken trust, things and trust that was broken, because that bond is so sacred, and depending on how close of a bond that was. Let's say if I believed in you so much that it didn't even cross my mind that that could happen, and all of a sudden it happened, it's like an atom exploded, but on both parts, right? Because if you are the one that is um, breaking the bond, breaking the trust, there's something inside of you that is doing that. And so it is also for you, it is extreme, and also for the person that is on the butt end of that the bond was broken. It's like something exploded, and each part is losing parts of themselves, the part that allowed themselves to be completely open and free within that. There's like a bubble that you have created, this trust bubble, that each person can completely trust the other person within this bubble, and all of a sudden the bubble is exploded and you lost your safety net. And again, you were abandoned, like abandoned outside of the womb. And it's like something completely explosive, like the atom was broken apart. And so each of the parties has to do it. First of all, in order to mend and regain that trust, both sides have to be equally in it. And this side has to be completely open about every aspect and not lose their temper every time. Because if you're protecting what you did and not telling about it, that means that you're not being forthcoming about it. That means that you're trying to protect it. You don't want the other person to see it. That means that you're still prone to it. Because when you take responsibility for something, you are completely open about it. And that other person will know it. And if you're in a relationship that is bonded like this, if you're doing something over here on the side, this person is going to know it whether they're hiding it from themselves or not. Because when you have that bond, it's like you have this one energetic field that you are within, and you're both in that same energetic field. When something changes in the energetic field over here, this person knows it. Even if they're hiding it from themselves and trying to tell themselves stories, or just completely blind to it by choice, they still know it internally. You cannot not feel the energy. There is a timeline. So let's say it's like my life is completely entangled in this other person's life. This person gets up in the morning, they go have coffee, they go to here, they go to there. There is a consistency. And when you are hiding something in that consistency, you have a gap. There are gaps in there. Not only time gaps, like gaps that you disappear, but once you're hiding something, you're not completely free and open. So once you're hiding something, you're thinking about everything that you're saying, because you don't want to accidentally expose something that is going to expose your secret. So all of a sudden you are taken back in this open relationship that always was open and combined. All of a sudden one part is closed because not because you want to close all the rest of your aspects with that person, but because you're hiding something and you don't want to slip up. And that is noticeable. And the time gaps are noticeable. So this other person is going to know regardless. And if there is something, if you have a valuable relationship and a trustworthy relationship, and you truly, truly, truly trust that other person to be there for you, and you have this yearning or longing for something, you will be able to come and be forthcoming before and say, listen, I love you. I don't want to break this trust bond. There is something that I feel the need to go and do, and see if that withstands that. And if it doesn't, then maybe it's time to but at least you didn't break that bond, and you didn't break that other person's capability of trusting. Because a lot of times when there's the trauma of broken trust, the side that the trust was broken, it could take years, if ever, for that person to trust again, or to know that they can put their trust in somebody again, not only in you, but in anybody. And so trust is it takes years and years and years to build a very, very strong trust. And it can be broken like that. That connection can be broken in an instant, and not always able to fix that. You're not always able to fix that. And now, if both sides want to trust, so we talked a lot about what this side has to do, but this side, if you want to regain trust and you want to trust again, you have to, first of all, open your heart to this person. And this person has to be completely dedicated. Actually, both sides have to be completely dedicated. Otherwise, it would never work. And sometimes after mistrust and you come back together and you can retrust, sometimes that bond is even stronger than it was before, because you have worked through this as well, and it's added into that trust. But you have to both be completely dedicated. And on this side, you can't keep throwing it at them. You can't, every time there's a little argument and something trips you up, that you're keeping this as ammunition in the background to toss at them. First of all, it means that you didn't heal from it. Because if it's still there, that means it's under the surface. It's bubbling all the time. It's still bugging you. It's still eating away at you under the surface. And whatever you're doing surfacely, this is still under there, coming up and lashing out like a look. And so you cannot keep bringing that up and throwing it in their face if you want to heal, because every time that you do that, you repel this other side. You are bringing the mistrust back into mistrust. And if that is going to be the relationship, it is if there is no trust in a relationship, then there is no value in a relationship. Because if you're in a relationship that you can't trust that other person, you're always checking your back, that there is no bonding there. You cannot bond. And so maybe you're holding on to something that can give you some kind of security in some ways, or allow you to have some kind of security, but you're not going to be in your creative light. Because if you're always watching your back, you can't be creative. If you don't feel like that other person is a network for you, and that you are a network for them, you can't be free within that relationship, and you're always watching your back, then that relationship, really, you have to assess it and see if it's really worth staying. Maybe you're just staying out of fear of going out and being on your own and finding something different, or afraid of being alone, or afraid of, I know how to work this, but I don't know how to work something else, going into the unknown. So you have to truly forgive. You have to truly forgive, and you have to truly forgive, not for that other person. You have to truly forgive for yourself, because otherwise it's going to continue to eat away at you. And having that bond broken teaches you how to trust yourself, teaches you if you can get over this, you can get over anything. If you can get over this, you learn how to truly trust yourself. And if you can get over this and retrust that person and allow them to freely be, first of all, you are going to draw that person back to you like a magnet, because that is so scarce, that forgiving, and that is an act of true love. That is an act of accepting that other person. That other person will see that as something that is so valuable and so scarce in the world. To find somebody that will love me even through this is complete dedication. But you have to truly do it. You can't be with that thing in the background. First of all, it's going to eat away at you. So you have to forgive them first and foremost for yourself. And you have to realize that if you truly love this person and they went and did whatever it is, first of all, assess myself. Why didn't they feel like they could come to me? Maybe it's because they were weak. Maybe because the bond was too weak for them to be able to come to me. I need to figure out what it is and why. Maybe it doesn't have to do with me and it has to do with them, but I do need to find the reasoning for it. And I need to find the place in allowance. If I truly love this person and they needed to do that for their own life experience, and I truly love them, then I will want for their best good. I will want them to have had that experience so that they know what it is. And if they come back and re-choose me, that also shows me my value in their life. And I won't even say that people make mistakes, because there are no mistakes. There are reasons. There's no mistakes. There are reasons. Even if we perceive it in our formatting, in our conditioning as a mistake, you're not allowed to do that. No, you're supposed to be devoted to me and only me and forever me and but if this person has some kind of longing for something else, then I need to understand that there is a reason for that. And if I try to dampen that and try to tell them that, you're not okay for that, it's just going to, first of all, I'm repulsing. I am not accepting them, but I'm also trying to make them feel repulsed with themselves, rather than saying, okay, let's really honestly look at this and see what this is. And you have to overcome those feelings of jealousy, or feelings of being betrayed, or feelings of I'm unworthy because they did this. It doesn't mean anything about you. It means something about them. And you have to be in a place of openness to hear about it. Without it, it's going to be very painful, right? Because the bond was broken, that trust bond was broken. But if you can get through this and rebuild this, then you have far more trust than you did prior to this. And it doesn't mean like, okay, you did it, now I'm going to do it, right? Because we have to be completely honest with ourselves. If you are doing things spitefully, then that bond is not there in any case. So I'm trying to make you suffer because I suffered. That is a very weak relationship, built on mistrust and built on pain and punishing, breaking each other down rather than building each other up. Okay, right? You can find that spiral, and if you can find a relationship where you build each other up, you spiral together upward. It's like adding power to power, adding my power to this person's power, and it just creates power tenfold, creates so much more power. I made some notes here. I'm going to go over the notes, and I'll come back and see if there was anything before I sum this up. Okay, so one point I want to bring home a little bit, I touched on it, but I want to bring it home a little bit further, is that this is to rebuild trust, you have to be completely dedicated. Both sides have to be completely dedicated, and you have to be in it for the long run. That means it's not, there is no quick fix. Okay, I'm back now. Now trust me again. But you have to trust me now. This is something that when you are dedicated, it is not time based. You have to give the space, you have to give the time, you have to be there to hold that other person up emotionally, and be able to take the whiplash, because there's going to be whiplash. There, a sacred bond was broken, something that is so scarce in the world, something that every single one of us is yearning for, a bond, that a trusting bond, that we can trust that other person to be there for us no matter what, that a love that is unconditional. That is the bond that we are seeking. And when we find that, uh, um, the taste of it is so sweet, and the taste of it is so empowering, that we want to hold on to that, and we don't want to break that trust, and we don't want to break that bond, because being within that bond is the sweetest of sweet. It's sweeter than anything that I can attain from without. It is the taste of that, and the comfort in that, and the love that is in that bond is so grand, that I would never do anything to forfeit that, or to betray that. And I have no yearning outside of that, because it is so sweet. And so I am sending you guys so much love. If you would like to schedule a individual meeting with me one-on-one, to kind of look at what you're going through and to get some perspective, then my contact information is in my website below. Thank you so much.